But basically, in the conduct policy, it says that
excellent journalism, by the way.
players should get a 6-game suspension for violating the domestic abuse, sexual assault clause in the conduct agreement. So it's pretty weird that he only got 3 games. I guess maybe because it was so long ago, or maybe because he hasn't got criminal charges yet. I don't know what it was, but for whatever reason, he only got 3 games.
Well, former NFL offensive lineman played
3 games they weren't going to win anyways.
That's actually arguably true. It's not funny, but it's ironic because if you look at his career and you look at this team, he probably has the most help around him he's ever had. And it's just kind of awkward and sad that this happens right now, going into a make or break year for him and his team. Because I look at Dirk Cutter, and is this right here an excuse for Dirk Cutter to be given another year? Because realistically, he did nothing to actually earn this job. Like, he was an okay head coach at Arizona State, offensive coordinator. Pretty much they brought in Lovie Smith to rebuild the whole thing, and then they fire him and make this guy the head coach. And he's really done nothing to deserve that mantle. When
you want to know what I really think?
Qualified candidates out there.
You want to know what I really think? I think we're dedicating way too much time to the damn Tampa Bay Buccaneers because no one gives a shit.
Honestly.
Like, no one gives a shit. Keep Derek Cutter or don't keep Derek Cutter. You're probably going to be a 7-9, 9-7 team anyways.
But, okay. Should he get the Big Ben treatment, though? Because if you think about it, other white quarterbacks like Brett Favre, him, have had situations similar to this.
No, because as you've detailed on this show many times, the world has a perception of black males, and when you give them any real substance into that stereotype, they never let you live it down. Michael Vick has said so much in the community, and he's still called a dog murderer.
Even though they rewrote those laws to literally make him a felon because it was not a felony and other people were doing it, and it was literally just a fine before that.
Yeah.
And they do it in the South.
It's
it's literally a custom homegrown thing.
Shout out to Clinton Portis, who was like, man, they're just dogs.
Oh,
and he got so much flack for that, and then he was like, whoa, y'all need to calm down.
He said, y'all care more about people than you do dogs?
Yeah.
Well, whatever. We're not going to make that ratio. Cause
it was the other way around.
Yeah,
but
I know what you mean.
Basically, he's never going to be able to live this down because people already had a perception, me included. Like, I didn't like Jameis Winston coming out of college. He's grown on me since then. Definitely. He's proven that he's...
Like a pustule? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. He's proven
That's
to
what people
me
think of him.
that he's an NFL quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Whether or not he's a elite or all-star level is to be determined. He's only in year 4.
He has elite talent, but it's not coming there yet.
And I can't even put it all on him because that team has been so...
The ownership has been terrible, let's be honest.
Hit or miss. Like, even besides the
ownership. With coaches who they've hired, they had like 5 coaches in a 6... They've had like 4 coaches in like a 6-year span. They've gone through a lot of people, the Glazers.
Even the free agents they sign, like, end up not being trash no matter how much hype they get. And they're not even going, like...
They did good this offseason.
Tampa Bay always does good in free agency. Like, they get the top second-level guys. Like, they don't get the first big names, but they get, like, solid second-level free agents, and they just don't do anything. Like,
and then
like
the draft.
Jackson, remember when they had Claiborne?
Vincent Jackson.
Remember when they,
Claiborne was a 20th overall pick. He was their draft pick. But he just didn't pan out because they were putting him at defensive end. He's really a D tackle.
Oh, that was with Philly that he flopped.
Nah, he didn't flop. He never went to Philly. He went to Atlanta.
I think he was drafted. Wasn't he drafted by Philly?
No, he was drafted 20th overall out of Iowa by the Tampa Bay
I thought he was in Philly.
Nah.
Are you sure about this?
You testing my gangster right now? You realize, I'm the one person who would know the specific number a player out of Iowa was drafted. Yeah, he started in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, you're right. I stand corrected.
I
stand corrected. I get undersized defensive ends mixed up.
Especially out of Iowa?
Yep. So I'll hold this out.
I'm proud of you for acknowledging that. But yeah. Anyway, this brought me to an even bigger point. Let's revisit that draft class. Let's revisit Mariota versus Winston, Winston versus Mariota. Have either one of them really lived up to their expectations? Because Mariota had 15 touchdowns and 13 picks last year. He was really nothing special.
But he got the team to the playoffs, right?
Yeah, that defense got them there. Derrick Henry, DeMarco Murray, and stretches. He didn't get them over the hump. He played good enough, and they came back against Kansas City, which, by the way, I called that on Twitter, and you and everybody else is giving me grief. And Tennessee ended up winning. And Tennessee actually
they were a sus-ass Derrick Johnson touchdown away from winning.
I still called it, and they shouted me out for it. Shout out to the Tennessee Titans social media team. Appreciate that. Anyway, but yeah, what do you think about those two players? Because I feel like they really are linked forever. It's like when you think of, in the NBA, Marvin Williams getting picked by Atlanta over Chris Paul. Certain players are just linked forever.
I just think, so are you asking me which one's better? Are you asking me which one I'd rather have?
They're both legacies. What are their legacies? Because realistically, neither one of them is really.
I mean,
they're underwhelmed.
Isn't their legacies what
bust.
they've always have been?
They're not bust.
Like, isn't it what they always have been?
They're one-offs.
I don't
From
know.
their perspective,
Jameis Winston is a good quarterback who you don't know who can put it all together.
He's better as a passer than Mariota, but Mariota still has something special to him.
Okay, let me finish.
I know. I was just trying to help clear it up.
Jameis is a dude with the intangible leadership, all the athletic skill sets that you have, versus Mariota is the athletic guy on a great team, surrounded by great players who does enough to be a almost winner, a solid team, a above mediocre team. Like, they're literally the same players they were. They're just in the NFL. Like it's actually kind of freaky because they're like still on the same trajectory that they always were.
Which is
we
true.
Don't hear shit from Mariota. We hear too much from Winston. Like, it's literally the same thing that it was in college.
It's actually, yeah, it's kind of horrifying and awkward. It's a Twilight Zone. It's
Yeah, man, but
realistically though, like I just don't see, and it's weird. I still see Winston's gonna have a better year than Mariota, personally. Like, Taylor Lewan's holding out for a better deal, which he should get. They've dumped so much money into this team and making it better overall for Tampa Bay, and arguably the AFC South is one of the best divisions in football, because if you look at the quarterbacks.
Wait, but you just said Winston's gonna. You said Mariota's gonna be better than Winston.
No, I said Winston's gonna have a better year.
Even though you're making the argument that his team isn't as good and it is in a tougher division.
No, I think Winston is a better pure quarterback than Mariota, but Mariota will have easier success. Wait, I meant the NFC South. My bad. The NFC South is one of the best divisions in football. You have Cam Newton, Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Jameis. They're waiting for him to take that next step. The other three guys have been to a Super Bowl.
That's true.
Mariota,
that's very true.
Deshaun Watson, Andrew Luck, Blake Bortles. It's like the complete opposite.
You just gave me the training room lineup.
It's the A team versus the B team. And it's kind of scary to think about it, because Bortles had a lot of promise, didn't really live up to it. Watson has a lot of promise, he just happened to get hurt. Luck hasn't thrown a football in like 562.
Nah, he's throwing
snaps.
Footballs now. He's throwing footballs. He's been throwing football for about 2 months. So don't sleep on Andrew Luck. Man, everyone's sleeping on Andrew Luck. Let me just say this. You can't teach.
He has no pain in the throwing shoulder.
You can't teach the kind of.
Here we go.
And I hate to be this guy. The kind of football acumen that Andrew Luck has and he's had since
winner.
Stanford. It's not even that he's a winner. He just understands the game. Like,
he's the perfect quarterback.
He's the type of quarterback you see play and the game looks slow compared to him.
Easy. It looks easy to him.
It looks, and it always has. And Jameis is somewhat of that, except for he has his own self-destructive tendencies of throwing dumbass picks. Like, I'm getting sacked by 3 dudes. Let me throw this pick. Like, bro, what are you doing?
Doing Brett Favre stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Mariota's, I'm not going to make any waves and I'll make a couple of plays type of guy.
And that's who he's always been. He get the ball to my playmakers, which is what got him drafted number 1 overall.
And he kind of got playmakers, but let's be honest, that Titans offense ain't nothing to sneeze at. It's nothing to be like, oh, I'm scared. No, they're all right. They're all right.
All right, man. Let's move on. Let's talk about your celebratory moment. A player you've been championing for a really long time.
Who should have been drafted by the Raiders, but the one LSU defensive lineman we don't take.
Danielle Hunter cashed out.
Danielle Hunter.
Danielle Hunter.
Don't call that grown man Danielle.
Danielle Hunter.
His biceps are bigger.
Signs a 5-year, $72 million contract with $40 million guaranteed. What do you make of it?
In an offseason where Kirk Cousins got, 3 years, $86 million, fully guaranteed? Are the Vikings... no, remember the Vikings had Randy Moss and they transitioned to Nate Burleson, and then the whole Ontario Smith, Wisnator, the boat situation.
That was before Nate Burleson.
Yeah, but I'm saying all that, I lump all that together. Because, Nate Burleson was the end of all that. But, all those moves being made, the whole, what was it, something boat?
The Love Boat.
The Love Boat fiasco situation, yeah. I think about all that, and I think about, the money they gave Sage Rosenfels, drafting.
Bro, can I just stop you before you even get to where I know you're going to go?
Sure.
Can we just get off the Vikings, Dick, as media? Because
that wasn't what I was going to say.
I'm tired of everyone talking about the Vikings.
Are you
marching
me?
You know I wasn't a fan of the Vikings last year. I think they're going to come down.
Is it because Stephon Diggs scored a touchdown on your boy Marcus Williams that may have crushed his psyche?
It's not even that. It's that they play in the NFC North. That we weren't actually, but yeah, he went to my school, but he went after me. Anyways, whatever. NFC North is boo boo, and it's been boo boo for a minute. And I think that's especially the case when you didn't have Aaron Rodgers playing there for most of the year last year.
Interesting.
And the Bears have been boo-boo for
since
as long as the Knicks.
Super Bowl. Nah, the Bears went to a Super Bowl in our lifetime. The Knicks. They went in the 90s, but do we really count 99? We were 7.
That was a lockout season,
Do we really count that? No, we don't count that. The older heads can count that. We don't. But for them to make the rebuilding the defensive line and linebackers and Xavier Rhodes, Harrison Smith, all these different picks, and the jury was out on Xavier Rhodes for a while, but it's because Florida State corners.
What do you mean? Xavier Rhodes has been a lockdown corner for 2 seasons already.
Not his whole career though.
He's only been in the league 5 years.
Still, it was kind of touch and go the first 2-3 years. You're like, is this guy gonna pan out to something? And then out of nowhere, boom, roads closed. But when you think about that, are the Vikings one of the best run organizations in football? Because that Love Boat situation was embarrassing for Ziggy Wolf.
And we've actually heard the COO of the Vikings speak. Shout out to the NFL Network, Black Engagement Network.
They actually did the first ever, I think it was, they did a similar event, but for LGBTQA. The first one of its kind in NFL history.
That's dope.
Bringing together content curators and people in that field.
But yeah, I don't think you're wrong in that case because Minnesota just finished having a Super Bowl. They just finished having a state-of-the-art stadium. So clearly
they're doing Case
something
Keenum.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Or
clearly they're doing something right. But I'm not ready to just give them the Lombardi trophy because they cashed out Kirk Cousins.
I'm talking about best front office.
They've definitely drafted well, so I'll give it to them that.
Everson Griffin
and
Danielle
developed
Hunter.
Well.
They got the defensive Jalen Holmes out of Ohio State. You're gonna make him a D tackle. Hercules Mataafa, he tore his ACL, but he was an undrafted free agent. They've really built depth. And it just begs the question, because Seattle did kind of a similar thing, why don't more teams just build through their defense? Because you have Aaron Rodgers in that division, so you want to have a strong defense. But teams that should be building their strong defense usually, Like, you notice they only have a good offense, the Raiders, and not even that.